guys, this is Craig, and I'd like to welcome you to the Rebel Soul Syndicate. Thank you for spending your time here, man, and hanging out with me on the podcast. Really genuinely appreciate your presence. So this podcast is lesson 13 out of the 21 lessons on magical theory and practice. And so I thought we'd dive just a bit back into that. So now if you've heard the other lessons, then you've heard what magic is, which is the natural ability, the natural law, right? The natural energy of life. And you have how to actually construct a spell or ritual, right? So you've got the information on what magic is. You've literally got a framework on how to create and craft a spell, actually do magic. So what we need to talk about from here on out is mindset and focus and intention and faith, because these are also really critical aspects of a magical practice, right? These are critical aspects of actually functioning and performing magic in a real world sense, and also moving forward, right? Making progress in your own personal existence. And so to me, it's a perfect blend of what it means to practice magic and what it means to have a productive and powerful existence. In a lot of magical practices, in a lot of expressions of the art of magic, you'll find that there is the view that magic is something outside of the individual, right? And people will place their belief in a wand or in a crystal or in a formula or a ritual, and their actual belief or their view of power is based on something external of them, right? Something outside of them. And to me, this is a real problem because it creates dissension. It creates a divide between the practitioner and the work that they're trying to do. Magic is something that happens within us. It's something that emanates from us. It's something that moves out from us into the universe around us. For so many of us, and you'll see this in a variety of faiths, you'll see this in a variety of magical practices, we're constantly looking for something external, right? On the outside of us to produce an inward change, right? To give us what it is that we want in this world. And we never really do the internal work that we need to do to be powerful, productive individuals. So many of us, we go through life with all this insecurity. We go through life with all this jealousy. We go through life with all this idea that somehow we are insufficient, that we are incapable of creating magic, that we are incapable of taking care of ourselves, that we are incapable of creating a life that's worth living. And so what happens in those instances when we never do the internal work required to be a magician, to be a really good witch, to be a powerful individual, to be someone that produces change and creates a great life. When we never do that internal work, we're constantly looking for something on the outside of us. And that stuff is always for sale. Somebody's always willing to sell you a wand or a rock or an idol or a god, or there's a variety of gods, or a system, or a formula, or a ritual. There's always something outside. There's always something for sale that promises to give you, in reality, what you already have internally, but promises to give you that thing that you're searching for. And what's upsetting about that is it never really delivers, right? In the beginning, you may have some excitement about the situation. You may have this idea that you finally found what it is that you're looking for, only to discover that it doesn't deliver, only to discover that it never really provides what was promised. And the reason for that is quite simple. Everything that you're looking for, you already possess. The connect between you and the magic you're trying to create is you. The connect between you and the life that you want is you. The connect between where you want to be and where you are is you. You are the path. You are the way. You are the key. You are the source. Right? You are the pen. You are the story. You're the whole thing. And so the connect point from where you are now to where you want to be, the connect point from you to the magic you want to create is actually you. And so as witches, magicians, individuals, people who want to move forward, people who want to really produce a powerful life, you and I, we've got to do the internal work to deal with the insecurities, to deal with the jealousy, to deal with the idea that we're not strong enough, that we're not sufficient enough, that we're not powerful enough. We've got to begin to really do that work, begin to really dismantle the destructive behaviors in our lives, right? And then initiate or institute behaviors that produce the kind of results that we truly, that we really want. And I find so often that that's one of the things that so many people just really don't want to do, right? They don't want to dive in and really create a practice for themselves that is introspective, that requires what? That requires change, personal change. For most of us, what we really want to do is we want to find something, purchase something, acquire something that's going to do the work for us. And this is where the problem for most of us, this is where the problem for most of us truly is. To be a great magician, to be a powerful witch, to be a productive person, to be a healthy individual, to be a happy individual, we've got to begin to deal with what's... it's almost as if we are our own cauldron, right? And we've got to begin to deal with what it is that's bubbling and brewing on the inside of us. And yes, that's difficult work. I've been very fortunate in the past couple of months to really fall in love with a woman by the name of Kelly Dawn. And not only do I love her romantically, but also I really just love what she has to say. I love the way that she approaches life, and I just love the energy and so much of the teaching that she puts out. But one of the things that I found that she said that really, really spoke to me is she said, your next level requires you to raise and hold a new standard for yourself. And what I love about that is because it's really true. What is it that you want for your life? What kind of a practitioner of magic do you want to be? What kind of a wage earner do you want to be? What level of happiness do you want in your life? How do you want your relationships around you to look like? What do you want to look like? How do you want to dress? Where do you want to go? What is it that you want to do? Because when you begin to understand what it is that you want for your own life, which friends is really so much of a requirement of doing anything that is productive, whether it's magic, whether it's living the life that you want, whether it's becoming someone who is happy. We have to begin to understand that it's not what's outside of me. It's not what's outside of me that's going to change me inwardly. It's the changes that I make inwardly that's going to produce change outside of me. And so I really loved this quote by Kelly: your next level requires you to raise and hold a new standard for yourself. Because so many of us, we want to continue to live lives that are inwardly a disaster, that externally are kind of a disaster. We want to continue to live in a way that doesn't require change, and we keep hoping that the next book we buy, the next magical tool that we buy, the next spell that we do, the next job that we get, the next state that we move to, right? The next lover we acquire, all of these kinds of things. We keep hoping that that's the thing that's going to push me to the next level. That's the thing, man, that's going to really change my life. I think it was from the Gospel of Judas, I believe, that said, if I bring forth that which is within me, that which is within me will save me. If I do not bring forth that which is within me, that which is within me will destroy me. In other words, if I don't deal with what's going on the inside, if I don't bring forth the gold, right? If I don't bring forth the magic, if I don't bring forth the power that's already innate within me, I believe God designed, I believe divinely created. If I don't bring that forth, if I continue to let all the externals govern my life, if I continue to let all the things on the outside of me dictate who it is that I am, the level of power that I acquire, and the kind of life that I'm going to live, my suppression of my own power, my suppression of my own strength, my suppression of my own magic will be the thing that ultimately destroys me, that causes me to live a life that's not authentic, that causes me to live a life of unhappiness, that causes me to live a life of frustration and anger and insecurity and jealousy and all those little things. And we all have our own little, I think we all have our own insufficiencies, right? We have these things about us that are weaknesses for us. And those will be the things that destroyed me. So if I didn't name your current insecurity, insufficiency, just insert that. But if I can begin to tap into the innate, divinely intended power that was given to me when I was created, if I can tap into that, if I can unearth that, if I can bring that forth, if I can bring that to the surface and hone that, and then begin to create external standards around that innate power, things within will begin to change, and things on the outside of me will also begin to change. And so I think that it is critical to understand that my next level me, the person that I really want to be, is going to require that I raise and hold a new standard for myself, that I do things differently, that I line up with the things that resonate most powerfully with myself. For so many of us, we've used external ideas to really define who we are, but it's time to let go of some of those definitions and begin to dive within and discover, who is it that I am? When I unleash this inner beast, what is it that I'm really going to want to be? What am I going to want to produce? What is it that can flow from me and begin to transform the universe around me? And again, I think for so many of us, we want this universal power on the external of us to somehow transform and change my individual self into something, and we've got the formula flipped. Because the universe, the divine matrix, that power is waiting to respond. It's waiting to respond to the energy that we push into the stratosphere, that we push into the ether or into the quantum or into the realm of magic or whatever it is that you want to call it. The universe is waiting to respond to our charge, not the other way around. And so until you and I can begin to get to a place where we're really willing to do the inner work, where we're really willing to dive in and deal with our own darkness, and deal with our own insecurities, and deal with our own pain, and deal with our the ways that we personally just feel weak from who knows what, a counterculture or things that were superimposed on us by parents or lovers or just society around us. Until we're ready to dive in and really deal with those things, we're going to be constantly charging the ether, the quantum, the universe with lack and insufficiency. We are the magic. And to me, this is what the beautiful Kelly Dawn is talking about when she says your next level requires you to raise and hold a new standard for yourself. It's living from the space that the magic is already present. It's living from the space that the individual, the next level me already exists. And I have to create really new standards and new ways of living that are in alignment in many ways with something that is already present, just unearthed. And maybe one of these days I can bring her on. I think I can talk her into it. But I think that's exactly what the quote means. There's something magical and powerful and present within us, and we need to begin to live at the level of that innate power, presence, magic that's already there. We are the charge. We are the energy. We are the power. We are the emanation of divinity here, pushing reality, creating reality. When we realize I'm the source, I'm the power, I'm the charge, I'm the energy, and we begin to operate from that platform, that what emanates from me charges the universe around me. When we begin to realize who is it that I want to be, how is it that I want to be, and we begin to get a vision for that, and we begin to initiate change, right? We begin to initiate change that is in alignment with who it is that we want to be. That's when the universe, the divine, the ether, the quantum, whatever that is, whatever you want to call it, it begins to respond essentially to our own faith, to our own belief, to our own power, to our own magic. So many of us are waiting to be rescued. I'm going to begin the practice of who is my next level self and what does that look like, and how do I need to raise my standards? How do I need to come into what practices do I need to initiate that are in alignment with who it is that I want to be? And then really begin to live as if those things had already happened. These kinds of practices, they require a level of faith. They require a level of doing in whatever way you can do until they're fully manifested. However, until we get to a place that we really believe in that change, that we really believe in our own magic, that we really believe in our own faith, as the old saying goes, the story doesn't happen to me, the story happens through me. I am the path to the next level, to the manifestation, to wherever it is that I really, truly want to be. All right, man. That's it. Hey, real quick, a couple of quick things. If you don't, first of all, if you have questions about this, absolutely would love to hear from you. You can find the Rebel Soul Syndicate on Instagram. You can also find it on Facebook, and you can find me as well on Instagram and on Facebook. I'm Craig Hostetler. You can find me on both of those. and more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. If you don't follow me on those social media platforms, please go and do that. I would love to know that you're there. I would love to know that you're listening. And yeah, man, I guess that's it. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Done.